a.m. How you going, everyone? Thirsty Thursday! I just created some blue gin. You! It's okay to be a proud boy. Hope everyone's had a bloody good Thirsty Thursday so far. Where's me light? How's that look? Good enough for the rough enough. All the world's going mad. Vladimir Putin's bloody. Check this shit out, bro. This is my new. My blue matches my hat. You drinking out of a jar. Oh, guess what? This is the jar. Remember I was saying I was going to an African's wedding last Saturday? Well, they were like, anyone want jars? They're like from the centerpieces in the middle of the tables from the reception. Anyway, this is one of the jars. The dust. I was like, they'll be mad for drinking out of the Dusty Sheila. She was like, oh no, gin and soda water. It's good for you, everybody. Yeah, the Dusty Sheila's like, you won't be drinking out of that. But that's all right. She's not home, so up to no good. No. Anyway, yeah, the African wedding. I got to tell you, it was a 60-year-old African lady at a Catholic church, right? And then the reception was at the Mormon Temple in Brisbane. It's in Kangaroo Point. Beautiful building. So it was like, and he was 90 years old, white Aussie bloke, all Nordic. Well, hello. You check out my new Dusty Bogan fucking drink, mate. Anyway, the wedding was good. 60-year-old African Catholic and a 90-year-old Aussie Mormon. I'm a true believer in world peace now. Anything can happen. People just falling in love. So I know the world's gone mad. What do we have? We've got the Senate has put forward the impeachment bloody. Senate gets ready to open impeachment trial against Trump. Yeah, well, we all know what's going to happen there. Fucking nothing. Oh, Vladimir Putin, the legend, what Putin's revamp of Russia means. So pretty much Putin's fucking, he's going to take over. Nah. Vladimir Putin has announced the most sweeping political change in Russia in almost 3 decades. The constitution will change in a way that will see him extend his 20-year reign after his term expires into 2024, while longtime ally, can't pronounce his name, has resigned as prime minister. I've seen a short video about it. Prime Minister Putin, or Putin plans to hold a constitutional referendum to redistribute some powers from Russia's presidency. Parliament will gain greater power over the cabinet, judges, and the security services. Future presidents will be limited to 2 total terms in office. They will be required to have lived in Russia for the past 25 years and never to have held a foreign passport or residency permit. The state council and advisory body will gain expanded powers. Anyway, sounds like that's like big news, hey? I was like, geez, what am I going to be bloody talking about tonight? And my mate came around with his little baby, so we were just chilling. I had a drink, delicious blue Dusty Bogan homebrew bloody gin and soda water. Should do the same here. Yeah, mate. Mix it up. So, yeah, and then the world's gone mad. We've had this week with that young kid who killed himself after the bloody trannies. What is it? Trannies aren't for kids. Here he is. I got the article right here. Everyone would have heard it by now, and I was too busy. to comment. bit of a sad situation here. The young liberal at the center of the Drag Queens Are Not for Kids viral video is found dead in a suspected suicide as the library performer sent heartfelt message to family. Anyway, this dude, if anyone doesn't know, if you're watching from overseas, this guy, I think they're the Young Liberal National Club at UQ University. They went to a, you know how the trannies are reading to kids? You know how that's a thing? They read to kids in libraries. Anyway, the Young Liberal, UQ Young Liberal group, whatever, they were like, nah. They rocked up and they said, you know, they did the whole trannies aren't for kids, trannies aren't for kids, just over and over again. Guess they just did the drag queen story time. I guess they just did the the equivalent of Antifa, trying to drown out anything. The message was clear: trannies are not for kids. I agree. I agree. I think in a public library, it's a bit much. You know what I mean? I just think it's a bit much. But are we going to allow? This is what I was thinking. Yeah, drag queen story time. What about Dusty Bogan story time? And I'll read books to trans children. What do you reckon that? Bit of a tragedy, young fella. So what happened was the young guy, Wilson Gavin, the guy who led the Drag Queens Are Not for Kids protest in Brisbane, that was just last Sunday. He took his own life at Chalmer train station about 7 a.m. Monday morning. So what a tragedy, eh? And apparently he was gay himself. He did a video about the when Australia did the gay marriage vote, postal survey vote. He did a video saying well, I'm gay and I believe in traditional marriage. So the guy was a young gay guy who was conservative, and there's heaps of young people, who it's kind of cool. I kind of like that idea that there would be young gay people out there who are. It's hang on, I see the value in the conservative way. No need to reinvent the wheel, and they see the benefit. They don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And the young man is, I believe he's right. I believe in traditional marriage, but at the end of the day, I do understand that gays, and if whatever, it happened. The postal survey went through. It's a democracy, just like Brexit. That was the choice that the people made. We live in a democracy, so you respect our choices, right? I think drag queen story time is going a bit far. Will we allow imams to do story time, and can Dusty go do a story time? Can Israel Folau go do a story time? If that's the case, it's fair, and it's fair enough. The parents have voluntarily decided to take their kids to this drag queen story time. Isn't it I wonder what them parents are thinking. So obviously the whole idea is so young people are raised so they don't discriminate. It's wouldn't want my child to discriminate against a tranny or a LGBTQI. So I took him to the drag queen story time. I felt right for me. You know what I mean? So I don't understand parents. I don't have that. That doesn't make sense to me. But whatever. No one's really. Let's just say this. When I used to do Bible study groups here, we had a trans person come. A young trans person came to my Bible study. Seen them the other week. Pretty normal. I guess it's this trans person. I don't know what you call it, whatever. Don't sue me. I'm not in Tasmania, so I think I can misgender people still legally in Queensland. We haven't gone full Tasmanian authoritarian. Anyway, the gay tranny who used to come to my house for Bible studies, they were like, they transitioned or were transitioning. So you didn't know. You thought they were the, as your eyes perceived, oh, that's a man. And you were like, that's just a man. You didn't know. It wasn't like these drag queen story times. It's like a bearded bloke with like mad makeup on and a dress and stuff. And you're like, what is this? This is a bit different. What's the stats? If we look at the stats, if we go, right, out of the LGBTQI, let's call them 2%. You call them whatever you want. Say they're 2% of the population, the combined population, the LGBTQI. What percentage of them are trans? Then what percentage of the trans want to be like drag queen? Because being a transgender and a drag queen is although I reckon they're different. And the drag queens, mate, that's 0.001%. They almost, I've never seen anyone, no, in Thailand I've seen the lady boys, and I had a beer with them and that, and they were all good, they were fine. But when are you going to see drag queen? Unless it's funny, like Thailand, you go to a lady boy show, them drag queens are kind of the normal drag queens that are funny. And then when are you going to meet? When is this scenario ever going to take place? Like, this is a weird scenario. You know what I mean? That's going on. It's pretty rare. Drag queens are not for kids. I'm pretty much there with that guy. I'm there with them. I understand. Yeah, drag queens are not for kids. I believe that statement. That's what I think. I think drag queens are not for kids. I do believe in that. And I wonder, the funny thing about this young liberal guy and Wilson Gavin, I wonder if he was like, hey, Dusty, do you want to come along to this thing? I probably would have gone. I'd have been like, yeah, mate, no worries. And then I could imagine myself being there, being like, drag queens are not for kids, and it blowing up. I think our mate Wilson Gavin would probably still be here if I went, because I'd guarantee I'll be like, all good, bro. It's a democracy. People have different belief systems, mate. We have different parties that represent our belief systems. It's okay. It's a public library. You can stand there and say drag queens are not for kids. That's what we believe. That's our culture, our tradition. Look, I'd say it's our culture. Multiculturalism. I think Gav would still be here. I think Wilson Gavin would still be here if Dusty was there. I'd be like, it's all good, bro. I think we would have done a live and talked about it and laughed at everyone melting down. But it's no laughing matter. This young man was, honestly, I haven't read any of these articles. I think it's a tragedy. The young guy took his own life. Apparently, what people are saying is he took his own life because he was bullied fiercely. People are like, you're this, you're that. You could only imagine. I'll jump in the comment section here. You know what you should read. Who should read to children? The parents. Yeah. Sexual fetishes are not for kids. That's true. That's a true statement. Melissa McPhee, you're right. I believe that. Sexual fetishes are not for kids, children. They're not. Or Nordic normalization of sexual minorities. My missus' little sister, right? She's sitting there on Instagram. This is a while back, and she's scrolling through her Instagram, and I'm like, what are you looking at? What is that on your phone? And it was one of these trans drag queen kids, a young boy doing his makeup to look like a girl. I said, why are you watching that, Liv? What made you want to like that? It came up in my, I think there's like a thing you go search or something and there's just heaps of random stuff. She's like, it just came up. And I was like, clicked on it. I thought the makeup looked pretty. I was like, okay, that's fair enough. But I was like, this person, like I was saying before, this drag queens. Okay, let's say the LGBTQI at 10%. This is the thing for the young. I looked at the stats and I think they said for the younger generation, as they get older, the percentage drops. So like the average percentage for LGBT people is like 2%. But when you get into the lower age brackets, I don't know, between 30, below 30, it might jump up to like 10, 15%. So let's give the LGBTQI, if we said we're all 30 years old, everyone's 30 and 15, and overall, we don't count anyone else. We got 15% of the population as LGBTQI. Then we go, is it lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual? I don't know. All I know, I don't think drag queen is in the LGBTQI. It's not there. Drag queen is not in the acronym, bro. So why is this happening? This is a super minority. This is a minority inside a minority. This is 0.001%. Like tiny. The only place you find these people are on Bangalore Road in Phuket. You know what I mean? So it's pretty funny. Normalization. And like I was saying about my sister-in-law, just a young one. And I said to her, I said, why are you, yes, you've seen it pop up on your phone. And I said to her, this person, this person's not hurting anyone, not doing anything wrong. And neither of the drag queens. I don't think the drag queens of the LGBTQI are hurting anyone, right? But they're such a tiny they're a super minority. They're such a small minority. Why? They're like Born Nordic said. No, it's normalization, isn't it? It is. What else have I got in here? Cali drag queen story time and trans people are separate topics. Yeah, so that's right. Trans people and drag queens are different because most trannies, you won't even know that they're trans. You'd be like, hey, you know what I mean? Is that a Mars bar in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? You know what I mean? You're like, I think it's a bloke. There's nothing sexual about reading kids stories to kids. Kelly, not an argument. Doesn't matter how little the amount trans people is. Think most people would disagree, Kelly. Normalizing trans people is incredibly important. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I get it. No need to bully them. No need to give anyone a hard time. Whatever. Like, no one, you're a grown adult. You're not hurting anyone. Fair enough, mate. I went down Bangalore Road in Thailand on my honeymoon, and we went down Ladyboy Alley, and there's drag queens and ladyboys, and we were like sitting there drinking with them. One of the ladyboys was selling like a bunch of roses. I was like, bought my wife a rose, gave one of the trannies a rose. There's some crazy tranny down there, and she's like, I think her funny thing was she'd be like, I love you, in like a real man voice. And it was pretty funny. It was all good. It was all good as all laugh, mate. Not a problem. I'm a grown adult. I'm a grown adult. Do what we want. We're grown people. Now I understand public library. If they're like the public library, the people who run the library, they've said, yeah, no worries, mate. We if you want to read books to kids, drag queen, no drama, not a problem with me. So the library's done it. I'll love drag queens put up a thing on Facebook, bring your kids along, and we want to make sure young generation are fully accepting of the drag queen people. And some parents are gone, isn't this a lovely? We're going to take Johnny and fucking Timmy and all these the young fucking flies down the street, invite the whole neighborhood. Isn't it precious? So voluntarily, the parents, it's their child, isn't it? It's their child. Public library, taxpayers funded by the taxpayer. If it's happening in a public library funded by a taxpayer, I think I can have a say. I think we all have a say. When the taxpayers paying for abortions and whatever, we can have a say. This is a democracy. So guess what? The taxpayers is going to say, how you going? And we're going to have a say too. And if you don't like our opinion, well, stop asking us, stop taking our money, because that is an involuntary transaction. It may be voluntary for Jack and Jill to take Tim and Bill, Bobby, they might take their own child voluntarily to the trans bloody the drag queen story time, whatever. But it's on a public library. My taxpayers' dollars paid for that library. So does everyone down here, and we're all going to have a fucking say. We're all going to chip in our 2 cents. And guess what? Multicultural world, there's conservatives out there. There's people who have different traditions and cultures who don't believe in gay marriage or any of it. And we're going to chip in out. We're going to have a fucking say. And we're going to stand there and say, fucking drag queens are not for kids. Is that all right, Kelly? Do you understand that, Kelly? Is that all good? I say pay for more story time. I reckon I'm going to go to my public library and we're going to see if Dusty can do a story time for kids, whoever wants to come, really. Maybe we might read the Quran or the Book of Mormon or the Bible, whatever. We're just going to do this show in the library. Thirsty Thursday comes to your local library. We're going to read just story time. Story time with Dusty. Even though I clicked, when I did this live, I clicked not for kids. That's my own standard. So this is my culture. This is my tradition. These are my values, Kelly. I voluntarily said, yeah, I don't even think this is appropriate for children. I made that decision. I don't think this conversation is for adults' ears. Is that all right, Kel? Is that all right? Someone said, fuck off, Kelly. I like her. I want Kelly. Kelly's going to come. Kelly's going to come with me. Come on, Cal, help Dusty out. We need to go to the library and just book it in. We're booking in Thirsty Thursday. Maybe we could do it in a pub. No, I'm joking. Drag queens aren't sexual, so I don't get it. They wear big flashy dresses. Yeah, as an adult, I don't really have a problem with drag queens. I would, mate, interview anyone wants to any drag queens want to do an interview. No worries, mate. We'll talk a bit. I'm happy to listen. Whatever you reckon. Doesn't really worry me. I don't think they're hurting anyone. I think personally, the only problem I have with the trans people is I feel like if it does rob your ability to have your own biological children, I think that I'm just concerned about that for the trans person. I'm just like, man, I really want to have children, and I just feel for someone, you know what I mean, if they couldn't have a kid, or they wanted to have a kid, or I'm not sure the science of if they transition, does it ruin their ability to have their own biological children? But I think that's a big decision. That's a big decision. I feel for them people, you know what I mean? So who cares if they read to kids, though? Literally, just reading picture books sounds harmless and fun. I'm keen. I'll go to the next drag queen story time. And maybe, like, imagine if I rock up Dust Bowl. It's been a while since I've gone out and done interviews. Be like, hey, yeah. Talk to the parents, the kids, the drag queen. Hey, yeah. Maybe I'll be like, imagine if we're just having a chat and a laugh and I said drag queens are not for kids. You're going to get upset. I'll say multicultural nation, isn't it? Australia, they say, yes, it's multicultural. I go, oh, what does that mean? There's different cultures coexist in the same place. I say, yeah, is this a public funded building? Yes. Taxpayers funded. Democracy. People allowed to have an opinion. Are you offended by other people's opinions? Is this a democracy? Yeah, nah. Do it, but be nice. Yeah, of course you got to be nice. People, mate, everyone's nice. I don't think the only person I've seen who's not nice all the time interviewing, going to rallies, all this stuff. The only people who weren't nice are Antifa screaming in people's faces saying they want to bash someone because they're offended by their opinion. I don't know. And how the hell did that happen to that person's brain? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with that person? Go to story time. I will. I'll go to a story time. I'm pissed they didn't invite me. I'm spewing the young Liberals didn't invite Dusty. How fucking rude of them. I would have been right there, brother. And I'm telling you fucking what, Wilson Gavin, maybe this tragedy wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Lol, the Nazis that Antifa fight often started, according to the studies. Bro, I got footage of me. I'm standing there. What was this? Anti-safe school rally. So people, remember, multicultural, Cal, different opinions, democracy, free, you know. It's not an authoritarian left-wing. This is a democracy. Remember that, Cal. We went to a rally. We got a permit for us, full, you know, above board. Antifa rocks up, screaming and yelling, pushing through police barriers. Come up to me. Do you know what they said, Cal? Go back to New Zealand, Dusty. You're not welcome here, Dusty. An immigrant. I'm an immigrant to this nation. Antifa, racist people came and screaming. I'm turning around, watching like people, grown adults push through police barriers, screaming at me. I'm thinking, what's going on? I think it was only 2 weeks before that Antifa had bashed a journalist in Brisbane. Bashed him, had to go to hospital, had to have surgery on his hand. Bashed a journalist. That same night, I seen them with my own 2 eyes steal a MAGA hat off a little kid. How did that happen, Cal? How did that happen? How did that little kid just walking into an event had his hat stolen by a thief? Antifa. They bashed a journalist in Brisbane City. No charges laid. No Guardian didn't write an article about that one. Channel 7 didn't have a fucking article about that one. They didn't do a piece about it. I didn't see it on a current affair, Cal. But if this Proud Boy fucking sneezes sideways, You know what I mean? I'm curious where you stand next to a bunch of Proud Boys. I am a Proud Boy. I'm the president of Ipswich. Not a fascist, mate. Not a fascist, Cal. I believe in democracy and freedom of speech. I would go up to these people and be like, "What do you reckon? What do you want to have a say?" I'm not afraid of your opinion. You can have your say. It's fine. Let's have a vote. Let's have an election. Let's talk about ideas, man. What works? What's going to make this world a better place? But authoritarianism is not. Are we free? What did our ancestors die for, Cal? What else crazy shit I seen? I seen at a pro-life rally, Queensland, Anastasia Palaszczuk passed late-term abortion. You can kill they're killing babies, healthy babies. We're not talking about 16-year-olds or bloody a disabled, something wrong with the baby, someone who's right. We're not talking about them cases where maybe an abortion we go, could be reasonable. Maybe it could be reasonable. We're talking about late-term abortion. We went to an anti-late-term abortion rally before Anastasia, the demonic goblin, passed that law in this state. Went to the rally. Guess who's there? Our mate, Antifa. Pushed through a crowd of cops up to an old lady, a sweet old lady holding a picture of baby Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. Right? Push through, abusing the shit out of her. The Antifa's abusing this old lady. Can you believe that? Wasn't on the news. Didn't hear anything about it. What's going on? What did that sweet old lady do? We stood there like this. The cops stood there and did nothing. Who was going to protect that old lady? If I stood in, that would have been on the news. What a bunch of fucking liars. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, Cal, you get the bloody picture. I'm just going to go on here. Bang. Now I can have a look at my comment section properly. Are we getting out of control here? Roots. He's young. Anyway, what other news we got? That's Dusty's 2 cents on the topic. I reckon I just feel for that young guy who took his own life. What a fucking tragedy. And next time there's a drag queen story time, the Dusty Bogan, I think I might go. I might talk to the tranny. I might talk to the trannies and the parents. I'll be like, it's a public library. It's taxpayers funded. I understand. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about it. Tell me your opinion. I'm happy to listen. Cal, I get your opinion. Lol. You're like my brother. You value your experience over studies on who initiates the violence. that is what I seen, Cal. This is real. This is real life. What do you think happened, man? I seen a guy. There was a guy who said, a journalist. We're having beers at the pub. Beers at the pub, Cal. Hey, I was thinking that I heard Antifa, they're down the park there. I said, don't go down there, bro. Don't go down there. They're crazy, them people. They're dangerous. We're just going to the show. Went to the show. And later on, what do you hear? Old mate, that poor journalist got bashed by 5 guys, sent to hospital. Couldn't go to work for 4 months, lost his job. What for? Cal? Nothing. Just pointless violence. Not Proud Boys. We don't start fights. We never started a fight, mate. You know what I mean? I don't really, and I think this is what I think about the Proud Boys. This is my opinion. This is the truth, Cal. 80 chapters around the world. 80 chapters. Once a month we go for beers. Once a month, Cal. 80 chapters. Yeah, we've been in a few fights. Go fuck, man. The Broncos, one football team. How much shit do they get in all the fucking time? A bunch of blokes that they are fucking a disgrace. Half these rugby league teams. There's not 80 rugby league teams. We've got more Proud Boy chapters than there are teams in the whole rugby league. How much shit do the fucking rugby league teams, they go out on the piss and have a fucking beer and they carry on like fucking idiots. Now, look, we've gotten in fights with, maybe with a few too many beers and someone starts a fight with us. Statistically, we're doing fucking better than the NRL. We're probably doing better than the fucking 80 bowls clubs around Australia. That's a fact, Cal. It's a fucking fact. That's a fact. Roots destroy the patriarchy. Some of this shit, man. You see them going on, eh? I seen them at no. Let's go on to something a bit lighter. What do we got? Darwin set to adopt smart city surveillance, but at what cost? Remember the nutcase? My mate, he just moved down from Darwin. Local Proud Boy. Just moved down from Darwin. And he's like, remember the shooting in Darwin? Some bloke just got out of jail. Got an illegal firearm, Cal. Do you believe it? How do you get hold of that? Some criminal fresh out of jail gets his hand on a legal firearm. Shoots up the city of Darwin. It's more like a town. And guess what? Now Darwin's going to be a smart city surveillance. You can't believe this stuff, eh? As part of its plan to transform Darwin into a smart city, the city council installed hundreds of poles fitted with CCTV cameras, loudspeakers, sensors, Wi-Fi points, and LED lights that can capture enormous amounts of real-time data. Thank goodness. It comes as the tight-knit community reels from a horror mass shooting. There you go. Do you wonder why when everyone said don't? You wonder what happened when they, I went to the Reclaim Australia rallies and it's like, maybe we shouldn't let these Muslims in if they have this radical ideology. Not all Muslims, maybe just the Wahhabis, maybe just the 1% of them. All you need is all you need is one guy to shoot up your fucking city, and then there goes all your privacy. You know what I mean, Cal? You can have guns, you can have heaps of stuff, just not in the hands of a criminal, just not in the hands of someone with a crazy idea, a crazy belief system. What happens when the local imam starts reading books to kids in the local library? Because they're so good. They're so good. I remember one day when I was in 2005, I was 17 years old. And the local imam, my Muslim mates said, the imam is coming down to tell us about Allah and paradise and all this. And I was looking forward. I said, oh, awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it, Cal. I'm looking forward. Guess what happened? Comes down, sweet white robe, beard, bit of ginger, no moustache. 2 minutes in. 2 minutes, Cal. We want blood on the streets. Holland Park Mosque, 2005. I wonder if that guy should be reading the kids in the library, because you know what? If the library allows him, if the parents decide that that's who they want reading to their kids, mate, it's all good. Only takes one fucking. How can Antifa go and bash a journalist in Brisbane City? Not a fucking problem. Police don't even investigate it. How do they get away with that, Cal? How do they get away with that? It doesn't make sense. One guy shoots up Darwin. Now it's a smart city. Hundreds of CT cameras. Here we go. So what's the downside? A major trade-off of all this new technology is our right to privacy, says Darwin University's senior business law lecturer, blah, blah, blah. There's a very strong sales line about technology that has a sensitive promise to greater protection from street crime. I actually would feel a bit, safer with all these cameras everywhere. Nah. I know there's like a study about moral reminders, so maybe having the cameras there is a good thing. There's cameras down the street, down the road here, and they say, warning, public video cameras, live cameras. Anyway, it's a very, very powerful narrative, but we need to ask ourselves, where is the technology being imported from, and where will this data go? Who has control over it, and who has access to this data? What about all the Antifa who are supposed to be anarchists? I wonder what they think about this. I'm sure they're not impressed either. Do we agree? Nah. Oh my God, Dusty, stop acting like believe some cartoon ideology. Like I believe some cartoon ideology. Nah, fair enough, Cal. You're a good person deep down. Trans Cal, is it? No. Only joking. Anyway, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm on the Uncockables next. There's some other bad news that happened today. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his old man died. I remember as a kid growing up in New Zealand, watching Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bash people with steel chairs and that. What an inspiration. No. He's a top bloke, The Rock. So, rest in peace to The Rock's dad. He fucking raised a good young man who's made the world a better place, I reckon. And, rest in peace, Wilson Gavin. I thought when it all happened that day, I was like, geez, even a few of the boys said, maybe we should reach out to this guy. And I had a bit on, I didn't reach out to him. So I feel like, feel sorry. I feel terrible. Like, obviously, I'm a fucking nobody. It doesn't really matter. I'm not saying it could have changed anything, but you know what? I could have fucking sent the guy a message, hey, and been like, bro, want to chat? It's all good. But I didn't, so that's life. But yeah, Cal, get on to me. Hit me up on Telegram. Go to my Dusty Bogans website, and then go to my Telegram. Join my Dusty Bogans mates. We can chat, Cal. Help me organize Dusty Bogan to go to the next drag queen story time. I'm fucking interested. And we'll close on some good news. Supreme Court of the Philippines rejects petition to legalize same-sex marriage. What a beautiful Catholic nation. What an amazing culture. What an amazing tradition with great values. God bless the Philippines, I reckon. What other good news we got out there? Here's a story and a half for you. Lynch burns pedophile alive after he was accused of raping and killing a 6-year-old girl in Mexico. Wow, that's what happens when people don't have faith in the courts. You know what I mean? People take justice into their own hands. What a fucking tragedy. But you know what? Jeez, the Mexicans, eh? Sometimes these multicultural, these different cultures like the Philippines and the Mexicans, you're like, I can see that. And I'm like, oh yeah. Multiculturalism. Multicultural. Different cultures and traditions. And Australia's full of Mexicans and Filipinos who and I just, you know, all the different cultures and traditions out there who are more conservative like me. I think, you know, we need a voice, don't we? We need a voice that we're not getting in the mainstream media. So I feel for these Mexicans and these Filipinos. You know what I mean? I feel for them. I haven't even finished one drink. You can see more of Dusty's on the Uncuckable in 10 minutes. I better get off. Here's the last bit of good news. Wrestling news. All Elite Wrestling has got another. They have a contract with TNT till 2023. That's awesome. I reckon that's good news. It's not all bad news out there, people. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Cal. I actually liked you in the comments section. Good on you. I'll see you on the Uncuckables soon. Thanks heaps. Thanks for tuning in. God bless yous. You.